Prime numbers. Before watching this video, it will be useful if you've watched the factors video. As we know, a factor is a number which divides equally into another number. So let's take the number 6. We can say that the factors of 6 are 3 and 2 because 3 times 2 is 6. We can also say that another factor of 6 is 6 because 6 divides equally into 6. Now, going with that is the number 1 because 6 times 1 is 6. So in this instance we can say, well, the factors of 6 are 1, 2, 3 and 6. The number 6 has 4 factors because these 4 numbers all divide equally into 6. So what's a prime number? A prime number only has 2 factors, itself and 1. Well, let's have a look at an example. So let's have a look at the number 2. Okay, so the only numbers that divide exactly into 2 are 2 and 1 because 2 times 1 is 2. Now, there are no other numbers that divide exactly into the number 2. So from drawing this we can see that number 2 must be a prime number because it's only got 2 factors. It's got the number 2 itself, its own number, and 1. So the number 2 is our first prime number. Let's look at another number. Let's think about the number 3. So what numbers divide exactly into 3? Well, I know that 3 divides exactly into 3. And 1, because 3 times 1 is 3. So 3 and 1 both divide exactly into 3. Now, because there are no other numbers that divide exactly into 3, I can see here that the number 3 has 2 factors, itself and 1. So the number 3 is a prime number. So far we've found out that the number 2 is a prime number, and the number 3 is a prime number, and these are our first 2 prime numbers. Now, the number 1 is interesting. Many people incorrectly think that 1 is a prime number, but it's not. Now, the only number that divides into 1 is itself, 1. And we say that 1 times 1 is 1. But actually, what we're actually saying here is that 1 is a factor of 1. So we would only say that factor once, we'd just say 1 is a factor. So it's not included as a prime number because remember, a prime number has to have 2 factors, itself and 1. So the number 1 is not a prime number. So far we've found out that the number 2 is a prime number and the number 3 is a prime number. Well, let's have a look. Let's think about the number 4. So, if I take the number 4, I'm going to think about the factors of 4. Well, I know that 4 divides into 4, so 1 must also as well. Well, there's also another number that divides into 4, 2. 2 times 2. So we can see here that 4 can't be a prime number because it's got extra factors aside from itself and 1. So 4 is not a prime number. Let's think about the number 5. Well, okay, well I know that 5 and 1 are factors of 5. Are there any other numbers that divide into 5? No, there's not. So we can see that itself and 1. So I can add that to my list. I know that 5 is a prime number. Okay, let's take the next one, number 6. Let's think about the number 6. Well, the number 6 and 1 are factors of 6 because 6 times 1 is 6. Then we can also say, well, 2 divides into 6 because 6 is an even number, so 2 must divide into it. What do I times by 2? It's 3, so 2 times 3 is 6. And I can see here that this is not a prime number. So 6 is not a prime number. Let's have a look at the number 7. Okay, well, I know that there's going to be 7 times 1. Are there any other numbers that divide into 7? And the best way to check is just work your way through them. So 1, yes. 2, no. 2 doesn't go in. 3 doesn't go in equally. 4, no. 5, no. 6. Right, so I can tell that 7 and 1 are the only factors of 7. That means I can add 7 to my list because I know it's a prime number. Now I can tell you that the next prime number after 7 is 11, then the number 13, then 17, then 19, then 23 and 29. Now these are the first 10 prime numbers, and it's really useful to learn these because it will help you in lots of other areas of maths if you can learn the first 10 prime numbers. Now you might have noticed something here. You might have noticed that you can, the number 3, the number 5, the number 7, 11, 13, 17, 19, 23 and 29, they're all odd numbers. And we can see that the number 2 is all by itself, it's the only even number. And that's because all prime numbers are odd except for the very first one, number 2. Number 2 is our only even prime number. So often you might be asked to find out, is this number prime? So for example, let's say the number 82. If I wanted to know whether 82 was prime, well, straight away I can see that 82 is an even number. Now I know that the only even prime number is 2, so 82 can't be a prime number. What about if we looked at the number 47 and we want to know, is 47 a prime number? So the best way to do this, if you don't know, is to start going through the numbers and see which ones divide into 47. So, well, first of all, I know that 1 times 47 is 47. So what about the number 2? Does 2 divide into 47? Well, 47 is an odd number, so it can't. So I know that 2 doesn't. 3. Does 3 go into 47? Well, if I'm not sure, we could do a little short division. And I could say, does 3 go into 47? Well, 3 goes into 4 once, and I'm going to carry the 1. And 3 goes into 17 5 times, because 3 times 5 is 15, and that means there's 2 left over, so no, 3 doesn't go into 47. Does 4? No. 5? No. 6? No. 7, and I can keep going through, and I can keep going until I realise that 47 is a prime number, because the only numbers that divide into 47, the only factors are 1 and itself, so I know that 47 is a prime number. Okay, now it's your turn, so now is your chance to pause the video and have a think and work out, are the following numbers prime? So pause the video and see whether these numbers are prime. Okay, let's see how you did. Well, let's have a look at our numbers. Okay, I'm going to take the number 56 first. Well, straight away I can see that 56 is an even number, so I know for certain that can't be prime because the only even prime number is the number 2. Let's have a look at 125. Well, it ends in a 5, and I know that that means that any number that ends in a 5 must be divisible by 5. That means that 5 is a factor of 125, so this can't be a prime number either. And let's look at the number 32. Well, again, I can see that 32 is an even number, so I know that this can't be a prime number. 89, well, what goes into 89? I know 2 doesn't, 3 doesn't, 4, 5 definitely doesn't, 6, no, 7 doesn't divide into 89, 8, 9 doesn't, 10 definitely doesn't, 11, 12, no, 13, no, 14, no, 15, no. None of these numbers divide into 89, so I know that 89 is a prime number. It's always useful to check quite a few, though, before you decide whether it's a prime or not. Okay, let's have a look at the number 81. So let's think what goes into 81. Well, 2 doesn't go into 81 because it's not an even number. I'm not sure about 3, so I'm going to do a short division to see if 3 is a factor of 81. Well, 3 goes into 8 twice. 3 2s are 6. 2 left over, so carry the 2. 3 goes into 21. Yeah, it does, doesn't it? 7 times, because 7 3s are 21. So I can see that 81 can't be a prime number because it's divisible also by 3. I might also have spotted that 81 is actually in the 9 times table as well, because 9 9s are 81. So that definitely can't be a prime number. Now, taking the number 53, well, I know that 2, 3, no, 4, 5, 6, no, none of those numbers divide into 53. 53 only has the factors 1 and 53, so 53 is a prime, and so is 71. 71 is also a prime number. Well done. If you got any of those wrong, go back and have a look at the video again and to remind yourself of what to look for to see if a number is prime.